sure quite some of you know her as well. She's a former member of the Dutch national team. She is European Junior Champion of 1994. She's 3 times national single champion, and she represented Holland at Olympic Games of 2000 in Sydney. She won big amount of European tournaments, and in 2006 she won Macau Open. She has beaten Zanning on her way to final. It was a great achievement, I think. Very inspiring for a lot of girls, I'm quite sure about that. And after her retirement in 2012, her passion for badminton continued, and she stayed very active in world of badminton. So she completed her level 2 and 3 of coaching, and she was taking a part in BWF tutors course in Hungary this year. And today she is here to share her experience with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Judith Meulendijks.
I'm here to talk a little bit about my experiences as a player. I recently retired, but hearing all the stories from Steve and hearing stories about Thomas make me think about my presentation as well. When Thomas was saying, yeah, the girls are a little bit more shy, and when you have to try things, they're like, yeah, maybe not today, or a little bit insecure. It brings back memories. I've of course have been training in many different countries, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the parts where I have physical training, starting in Holland with my career, moving on to Denmark, and then also a mental part, coping with injuries, which I hope you all don't have to experience. I of course was born in Holland, so I started my training there. The national center is in Arnhem, which Ruben will probably know. Of course, it's very important to develop yourself. Of course, I in the beginning, also as a girl, like Thomas also said, was a little bit insecure. You go to training, you want to try out new things, but still you're a little bit like, oh yeah, but they're boys, so yeah. Or what do they think? Like Steve also said, what do other people think of me? Of course, you grow older and it gets a little bit more easy. So I just started to try out new stuff. Like the physical parts, I was working together with an athletic trainer. So he was just saying, okay Judith, we're gonna do some tests, see your good stuff, your bad stuff, compare it, and then we just work on how to make you better. I know there's a lot of ways to do physical training. I mean, you have the running, you have the weights, you have the physical part on court. I think all parts are important, but I think if you all, for example, look at your summer training, I think many of you will go running a lot of times. Or am I wrong? I think many of you will. Then you go on court, maybe after 6 weeks of not being on court. You do 2 minutes of an exercise and you go like, I'm so tired. But how is that possible? I did all the running, I did the physical training in the summer, lots of hard work, but still when you go on court it's different, because you have the combination of stuff. You're not just running forward. You're using your arms, you have to look at where the shuttle is going, you're moving sideways, you're moving backwards. So it's a completely different way of exercising. I think everybody knows the I don't know how you call it in English, the beep test. Yeah. Everybody loves it, I guess. I remember when I was doing it, I was just thinking, oh God, don't let me be the first one to stop. And I was running, and you always have these tests. I mean, there's, like I said, there's so many things, but I think the thing we like most is to be on court. The things I used to do were, yeah, there were many different stuff. After training in Holland until I was around in the year 2004, so I let you guess how old I am, not saying it. I got the chance to move to Aarhus, exactly the club where Thomas was coaching at that time. I can still remember. I got the opportunity, and as I think many people know, Denmark is one of the European, I think at that time, European's best country to go for training. So I didn't even have to think about it. I said, why not? Let's move. Let's see how it is. If I don't like it, I can always move back. I mean, Holland, Denmark, 1 hour flight. Can't be that bad. So I moved and I got under the wing of Morten Frost. I think everybody probably also knows. Got there, trained with the boys. And of course in the beginning you think, oh God, I'm here. I didn't understand the language. Of course I spoke English. But it was also a reason for me to say, okay, I'm in Denmark. Everybody speaks Danish. I have to learn it some way. Well, I got it under control. It took a little bit of time. But I was able to adapt myself. And you could also see that the group got better and better. I, for example, also trained, I talked to Emma about it, you can always put girls separate from the boys, which we sometimes did. But I think it's very good to use the boys in training. I also used to practice in Aarhus when Jan Jurgensen, for example, was still this tall maybe. He used to practice with me. And now when I look at him, then I'm thinking, okay, he's done very well for himself. But I think the main thing is that you have to learn. Yes, it's an individual sport, and yes, like Thomas said, you have to try and get 100% out of a training session, no matter what it is. If it's running, or if it's something you don't like. If it's something you don't like or you're not good at, but you want to be better, so you still have to try it. I felt like, yes, training with girls was nice, but it can also be, to say, bitchy. Oh, I don't like you. Well, I'm not making you better. Oh, I'll feed a little bit bad, so you don't get better. I mean, like Thomas said, it's very, very important to have a wide group. I think that's the main thing. Have a wide group of players who are willing to work for each other. If I practice with you, for example, and we feed each other very good, we both get better. But if I say, yeah, but I don't want you to get better, so I play everything out and play there and play there, you don't get anything out of it and you think, yeah, but now it's your turn. Everything out also, and it doesn't make any sense. So I think for me it was very important. I of course got into a new environment. New language, new people. Of course I knew a lot of people also. But it's learning to adapt and to take 100% out of it. I had a goal for myself. Like Thomas also showed, you can set goals for yourself. I did the same. I wanted something and I went for it. In the end, maybe some titles are missing or medals are missing, true. But I can honestly say after retiring that I felt, okay, I've tried everything. I had a female coach in Greve, which of course was completely different to Morten Frost. Morten Frost was a coach where he was all about, okay, we do the classic 2 against 1, we do defense. Nobody asked, we just did it. Now we play only matches, and we played matches until I couldn't even move anymore. Moving to Copenhagen, to Nadia Luduk, who had an academy, it was more like, so how are you feeling today? Are you okay? Are you ready to train? Is it okay for you to go 100%? Oh, you look a little bit tired, let's take a step back. So really going into emotions. Unlike Morten, who says, yeah, 2 against 1, so yeah, change. And that was a little bit for me a way where I felt, okay, I really know that if I have any problems or if I don't feel well, I can also say it. It doesn't mean you don't train, but you just train a little bit different. Does everybody get my point? I mean, it's always good to train, but you shouldn't forget that regeneration a lot of times is sometimes even more important. I guess all of you, if you go to a tournament, you play, if I remember from many, many years ago, junior tournaments, you play like, I don't know how many matches a day. But as soon as you come off court, there's a court free, you go like, hey, you want to hit? There's a free court. You go on, and you just want to keep on playing. I mean, that will also change. Don't worry. The thing I'm saying is that you can have many different coaches, which I think is very good because in the end it's you as a player who's saying, okay, I learned from, let's say, Thomas. Okay, I think this and this was good, so I'll take this with me. And of course I know if you're a doubles player it's a little bit more difficult because you're always with a partner. For me it was easy, I didn't have to look at anyone. I was like, okay, I'm single, so I'm going there. Train in China sometimes, I trained in Indonesia, I tried many different stuff. And you get so many ideas. Whereas you can develop, of course, as a badminton player, but I think more important also as a person. I remember my first trip to Asia was with Jeroen, sitting in the back. I think I was 17 and Jeroen was a little bit older. And we were traveling and I was like, oh God, I'm in China. And I was looking and then you go on court, you get smashed, you get 3 points or something and you think, yeah, but God, I traveled all the way. And I'm crying and thinking, what am I doing here? And all these steps lead eventually to European Junior Champion. I remember many successes with the Dutch team. I mean, it doesn't matter how bad the odds are. You can always, if you have a goal for yourself, I think that's a very important tool to work with. Always set a goal, so it makes it for yourself easier. It doesn't have to be a result. It can also be, okay, I want to improve my technique. And at the end of the year, I want to be not here on this level, but I want to take it here. I'm just looking at Emma for time because I have no idea. I'm good. Okay. Like I said, the physical training I did a lot of running, and I know that some opinions are that yes, running is good for the basis, but on court I sometimes feel like when I did a lot of running, well, I didn't feel any better. I was still tired after 2 minutes. So I think in the long run, when you're starting from now, like most of you are, I think, between 15 and 17. So I think if you take all these years, you will start to recognize what is good for you. I, for example, did running because after the run I felt like, oh, I'm really fast. I felt really good. I had a good feeling, I did interval running. I went on the running machine and I put it on 22 kilometers an hour. And I could do sprints on it. And afterwards, I had pain everywhere, but I had a good feeling. And it helped me when I went to tournaments where I felt, okay, I'm ready now. I'm really ready. The same with weights. I also did the squats with 120 kilos. If I do it now, I'll probably break my back. But, I mean, you have to try everything. That's also what I did. But in the later years, I just did a lot of experience. Okay, what do I need? Of course you need weight training. But do I really need to do the 120 kilos where I'm like this? No, then I just reduced it. So I picked the things out where I thought, okay, this is something I could really use. Something I could take with me. The big change, or the big difference, I think, with training in Aarhus and training in Copenhagen is being under a male and being under a female coach. I wasn't used to a coach asking me, so Judith, you look a little bit tired, are you okay? Did you sleep good? And I was like, yes, why? Completely stunned by the question. But I think for girls, I saw that at the academy as well, like Thomas also said, you see when girls are just together, it can work. But if something happens on court, it takes 2 weeks. And they're like, yeah, I'm not talking to you because you were a bitch last week. And they just don't speak to each other. Instead of saying, okay, we're in training, we'll work hard, we make each other better. Yes, sometimes things happen, or you hit each other, or you say whatever happens. But you can just say afterwards, okay, listen, I'm sorry, or I didn't mean it that way, you just clear the air, and that's it. I mean, with girls, it's, unfortunately, I have to say Thomas was right, it takes a little bit longer. Yeah? But it's an individual sport, but still you need sparring. Like Thomas also told before, you need players to make maybe one better player. But if there's only one good player, but no sparring, then you also can't. I think the challenge is also, when I do a little bit coaching myself now, is to make the players who are maybe at the level here, make them go up here. It's of course easy to train very big talents and say, yeah, listen, I won a tournament, I did this. But I don't need to teach them anything. So I'm always seeking a challenge. So it's, yes, for me it's easy to say, okay, let's, of course now she's retired, but I'm gonna coach Tina Baum. And oh look, she won Japan. But did I really do anything? I didn't really. And for me it's a little bit weird to stand here and also being here as one of the staff coaches, because I just finished my career. But in a way it's also interesting because of course I can relate to what you are thinking on court sometimes. I know when sometimes you're thinking when you're practicing and it's not going well, and it doesn't mean you have to shout or throw rackets or anything, but you can see on people's faces when it's not going so well, and then you ask how it's going, yeah, fine. And then they just turn away. Yeah? It's also a matter of trusting and respect, of course, coaches to players, but also the other way around. I think that's very important. I was actually gonna do a little bit on-court demonstration, but unfortunately we won't be able to do that. But I would like to discuss a little bit. I've been on the circuit on the highest level since I was 17 until the end of my career, so that's about 15, 16 years. So I've seen how lady singles has developed. If I look in the beginning when I just came and I didn't know anyone, and then I saw, maybe some of you also don't know, Susie Susanti, who was one of the biggest in lady singles. If I saw her playing, at that time I was thinking, wow, when I was sitting and she was playing these high clears and the footwork was perfect. And now, looking at badminton at this point, let's for example take Tina Baum or Juliane Schenk. There's no high clears. There's jump smash. There's smash and run forward. There's a lot of flat play. I've seen in the last 10, 15 years that lady singles, for example, whereas the boys, men's singles, was already a lot of play in the middle, only in the middle. And the ladies will only know it has to be in the front court, and there in the back, or there in the front. Like you only play 4 corners. Instead of, yeah, why going for the lines? Well, the court is quite big actually. So why going for the lines, risking a mistake very early? The thing I like the most is to see the development, the speed. It changed so much. And if I talk for myself, which I am doing the whole time, of course, my style of playing was a lot built on defense. I'm not so tall, I didn't have any power, I didn't have any smash. So I was a lot built on defense. So if my defense was good, everything was good. But as long as when I had to attack, I couldn't score any point because I could play a drop, but I couldn't really play a smash. So I was a little bit like Japanese style. But of course the Asians were a lot better than me at this. And that's also when you compare European players to, let's say, Asian players. Yes, we can play long rallies, but in the end, it's always the Europeans that make the mistake first. So I thought, okay, what can I do? I don't want to be top 100 the whole time. I want to go top 20, or maybe even higher. So I thought, okay, maybe I have to learn to smash and attack a little bit more. So I think I worked on it for like 6 months. Can't really say I have a smash now, but it got a little bit better. And I changed my game a little bit in counterplay. Still working from defense, but still taking my chances when the chances came. And being top 100 for a very long time moved me into top 10 spot. So I think if you look at yourself, it's always easy to say, okay, I'm very good in attacking. But what if your opponent is even better in attacking and you can't play your game? Yeah, but I can't play defense. So what then? You just shake hands and stop. I mean, it's always about developing yourself, and I think that's what I learned most, and especially when I was in Denmark, I had many different coaches, whereas technical skills I learned quite late, and I know they always say in the beginning it's easier to learn when you're young, like you, but I learned many skills when I was 24, 25, because I was open for it. I mean, when you move countries, it's like, okay, let's see what happens. And I've never regretted. I mean, badminton in Denmark is still very big. And yeah, like I said, the changes in ladies singles is more physical. When they changed the point system, they said, yeah, but now it doesn't take so long. Well, the ladies singles, it take 1.5 hours. All matches take so long. So it's all about physical part, but it's like everybody knows, badminton is a very complete sport. What I actually like most about the changes is that it's not so much like for example, if you say ladies doubles, everybody thinks, yeah, but it's just clear drop. It's so boring. If you look at it now, yes, for 10, 15 years, I have to admit, it was clear drop. But if you look at it now, when Emma was still playing, it also changed, right? Yeah. It's a lot more attacking. It's much more explosive. So the game is changing all the time. So that means that you as a player can't say, okay, I'm a defense player, but I can't attack. So I'm not training that because I'm not good at it. The more important it is to focus on the stuff you're not good at, which sucks probably, which I also didn't like. Time still good. Okay. Of course, you can compare ladies singles to men's singles a lot, but there are of course many differences. Like I also said in the beginning, if a shuttle comes too short in the men's singles and they smash it, 9 out of 10 times it's on the floor. If I recall, when I was still playing, the only one who could do that in ladies single was Tine Baum. If she smashed, well, if she hit you, for example, it really hurt. Many others, it's okay, you can still play back. Yeah, so it's a more attacking game. But if you compare it now again to what ladies singles like before, more play in the middle. Juliane Schenk is a great example, I think. Playing jump smash. The girl from Hong Kong, Yip, also jump smashes all the time. Of course, if you look at the Japanese style, then it's a little bit more where you think, yeah, it was the same like 10, 15 years ago. They just play rallies. But if you're this big, then it's of course also difficult to play jump smash, or to smash from here. Japanese are a little bit smaller than we are, and I'm also not the tallest, but I mean, the game has changed, and I think it's good to see, because it makes it more attractive. Where people maybe for 10 years thought, well, ladies singles is on and the ladies doubles, yeah, I'm gonna get something to eat. And now, when you look at it, oh, there's a ladies singles or there's a ladies doubles. Maybe the boys don't agree so much, but I think, knowing from myself, I was also, I have to watch, yeah, it's boring. But other stuff, if you look at it now, like mixed doubles, ladies singles. Of course, the men's singles, men's doubles, everybody likes because it's fast, it's explosive, it's jump smash. But now ladies doubles and ladies singles is getting a little bit more alive. So it's not more like, oh, it's just the rallies, it's boring. And I really like to see it. The last part, I would like to go in deeper, and I think that's also what we talked about a little bit with Thomas and Steve also, is that the mental part is very important. Everybody knows that you can get injured. It doesn't even have to be on court, doesn't have to be your fault, you can also fall down the stairs. I had 2 big injuries. When I remember I just moved to Aarhus, and I was of course all happy and moved, settled in, and 5 weeks later I played Denmark Open at my hometown, my new hometown, and I snapped my Achilles. So the dream I had, training, living in Denmark, was just in 1 second gone. I knew I fell on the floor, I felt okay, this is not just an injury, it will take me maybe 1-2 weeks or maybe a month. So after I snapped my Achilles, of course, many things go through your head, and I moved, and yeah, what now? The good part is that my club directly said to me, you come back next year. Where I was thinking, okay, but oh God, I have to learn to walk again, operation, many things going through my head. And I was not that old at that time. And I was just thinking, but how? I don't know how. I don't know how to come back. I think for me it was a sign to go back to Holland. My dad was very sick at the time. And a lot of times people say when you snap your Achilles, it's because you're maybe not happy or something is not right. Well, in my case it was true. I moved again, so moved all my stuff back again, and had an operation. It took me, I think, 3 months to walk normal again. I had an operation the day after. They said, okay, Judith, rehab is starting. And I was like, yeah, but I have a cast around my foot, I'm on crutches. What can I do? Yeah, you go on the bike. And I'm like, I'm going on the bike. Right. Okay. I had to come every morning. I had to do weight training, stabilization training, biking, you name it. 5 days a week, 2 hours. They sent me to the gym every evening, 6 evenings a week. And I did this all because I was just thinking, yeah, I'm not finished. I was just starting. I wanted to go and train and live in Denmark, and then I've been there 5 weeks and it was over. So I took 3 months, then went on court, where I could do this, maybe, in the beginning, and I was already happy and smiling. I was like, oh, I can move. Took 3.5 months, so in total 6.5 months out, playing my first tournament in Holland, where I thought, okay, it's nice to be on court, but I didn't feel good. My dad was, of course, still sick. Mentally, for me, it was, of course, very difficult to focus on what I love to do, and also focus at the same time on my family, because, of course, we were having a hard time as well. I started to try and get back. I got injured in October in 2004. For singles to make my comeback, I took almost a year. And I was really proud to play my first tournament. I got trashed in the first round by someone I can't remember. But I didn't have any pain. My dad was doing a little bit better. I was doing better, so everything good again. So I said, okay, I'm coming back. Really great year. Took me another year to get back to the same level. So in total I lost maybe, I think, 2 years, to say. And I remember we went to Uber Cup finals with Holland. And remind me a little bit of the difficulties when you are with a group of girls and discussing something. When we were discussing, for example, how the team was played, I was, yeah, but I'm the best doubles player and I want to play. And then the other one was crying and, yeah, but I'm the best. And I was just sitting and I was thinking, yeah, just make the team and yeah, just get on with it. We were 6 girls. We played almost all the matches with only 4, and we got to the final, eventually losing to China, which was of course not a shame. But a small country like Holland, having not many players, I mean, if you go with a team to Uber Cup finals with 6 girls, if one gets injured, it's going to be really difficult. But we got to the final, but it never happened before. And I was part of it, and I was really happy. I was injured for a long time, and I was part of the silver medal. And not shortly after, like Ella also said, I went to Macau, and yeah, I think I had a, how can you say, dream week. Everything I touched was points. I could even smash a little bit, I remember. It was just all falling into, the puzzle was falling together. Everything fit. I played Sang Ning, I never had a chance against Sang Ning. Winning against her, yeah, I can remember standing like this, but I can't remember how the match was. I can just remember that I said to my coach, I have pain everywhere. And I was so tired, and he said, you know what, Judith, you have a beer it's good for the muscles. And I was like, what? I did it. Eventually, I don't like beer, but okay. I took a little bit, and I went on to win the tournament. I beat 3 top 10 players. And in the end, when I won it, of course, I didn't know what really happened. I think you're like, some maybe from your side maybe know, in a flow where you think, okay, it doesn't matter what you do, it just fits. That was a week I had. And of course, it made me think about my dad a lot, because we were still having a hard time, and he died at the end of the year after I won Macau. So for me, it was in a way a little bit double. It was good that he could still see it, but then of course short after, yeah, he was then gone.
Also,
who's calling? Who's calling?
I was speaking.
that's my fault.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, and I'm back. But yeah, it's mentally a really tough time. Of course, being in Denmark, Dad being sick, winning a tournament this size, of course, being really proud. He was also proud, and that was the first part. And I had a good year then. Of course, I also had a little bit fallback. It took quite a long time to get success again, and I think it was, of course, partly losing my dad is of course for no one easy. You feel like you put everything into badminton, but in the end, how important is it? Of course, it took me some time to realize it is important. Of course, my family is most important, and I'll do anything for my family. But it was still what I wanted to do. So I continued and played and won some titles, lost some matches, great shit, had some small injuries. And then when we got to 2011, the year before I stopped, my mother had a heart attack. And I was in Denmark. At that time I was actually at a tournament, and I was home very fast. Where you then think, okay, great career, great badminton, but who cares? So I went back again and yeah, took care of my mom. And then not even 2 months later, I had a very serious back injury, which of course made me think again. Yeah, what am I doing? I directly packed all my stuff, literally the same day. Went back from Denmark to Holland. Decided, yeah, this must be a sign that I have to go home, have to be with my mom, have to be with my family. So I decided to go there. But still inside, I still wanted to play. But I wanted to be close to my family. But seeing some specialists and then hearing them say, well, Judith, this is not going to happen. Your career is over. And I couldn't accept it. I always said, if I stop, I want to stop on my terms. I want to stop because I want to stop and not because an injury is making me stop. So I decided to see another specialist. And he said exactly what I wanted to hear. I think I can help you. Give me 5-6 treatments, you come back. If it doesn't help, you need an operation, but then the career is over. I said, okay, I can accept that. Actually, I couldn't, but okay, I said, let's try. 3 months later, I'm playing at World Championships. Almost beating number 10 in the world. So, being from the most insecure place ever, having a specialist tell you, well, Judith, you can pack your rackets on the side, your career is completely over. To playing World Championships and in the same year winning a tournament, winning the next year, winning 3 tournaments, where I, of course, already thought when I got the injury, I'm not playing for a long time anymore. So I decided when I was in the beginning of 2012, of course, you start thinking I was also getting a little bit older, of course, and the body is also not really working so good anymore. I decided to stop at Dutch Open. I didn't tell anyone. I just told my close family and friends. And I went to Dutch Open. I didn't really train. I was just thinking, okay, I'll play, and if I lose first rounds, also fine, but it's the last thing I want to do. And I don't want to go any further, and that's also fine. I went in the tournament, also no expectations, getting to the final. And then of course you want to win, which I didn't get to. But what I'm trying to say is that you can see that you can have many setbacks in life. It doesn't matter on what level, if it's family, if it's friends, if it's injuries. I think I had it all in the whole career, which of course sucks at that time. But like I also talked to Emma about it, an injury a lot of times make you come back a lot stronger. I'm not saying you have to get injured to get mentally stronger, but if you get injured, it doesn't mean that that's the end. Well, look at me. I played for 15 years on top level. 2 serious injuries, and I think I'm maybe one of the lucky ones who only had 2 injuries. When I think about it, I think I had 2 injuries, so it's really sucked because you're long out of the running. You're out for a long time. And you're still young. And the thing I want to give you guys, that it doesn't matter where you are at this stage, it doesn't matter. You can achieve so much. And like Thomas also said, it's always easy to coach players who are already at a certain level or have a talent. But the challenge for us is, as a coach, and what is also a little bit my different point of view now, because I stopped playing, is to get this level up to here, and not so much here to maybe there. And I hope my story, I hope I didn't bore you too much. But like I said, sometimes you don't get so many opportunities. I also directly grabbed my chance when they said, okay, you can play professional badminton, you can go to Denmark. I grabbed all my chances. If it didn't work out, it was also fine, but I tried. There's never a wrong choice. You just have to go on and try. Give your best. Like Thomas also said, you can train 80%, but what about going all in? And then seeing what happens. And then hopefully seeing you guys in some years at the highest level.
Thank you very much. And I think it's a great opportunity for the girls which we have here to put questions to you. Anyone else, of course, welcome, but I think for the girls it's a unique chance to ask anything you want to know from Judith.
No difficult ones.
Anyone?
Do you think travelling around to all these different countries really helped you achieve your potential?
I think it did. Of course I had all the basic training I had in Holland, which I think was really good. I learned a lot. But at some point I had the feeling that I needed something new, I needed a challenge. And when the opportunity, of course, appeared that I could move to Denmark and try it out there, I didn't have to think twice. Because my opinion, it's good when you have different coaches. You can learn so much. But it's always up to you to say, okay, I take this with me and I take that with me. It's the same with I went to Indonesia, I went to China for training. It's completely different, but you get new ideas, you maybe get new motivation. For me, it's definitely helped a lot. I'm happy, I didn't regret anything I did, actually.
Any more?
Is there any favorite country or coach where you learned the most?
Oh, difficult one. There's not really one coach where I think I learned the most there. I think if I talk technical skills, I learned a lot from the Chinese coach who was in Aarhus, Chang. He taught me the small things where I thought, oh, is this how you do it? And I was already 24. So he, technique-wise, he learned me the most. The other coaches, I learned a lot, but it's more like how to work, what to work with. Not really one coach is really standing out where I can say, okay, this is the best. The only thing I have, because I only have one female coach, is that from the beginning on, not even knowing her, I felt comfortable. And this of course could be because it was a female coach, but it's also the feeling that, how can you say, if something was wrong, I also felt I can go to her. I can tell her and she understands. Being a player herself, she also understood many things, and of course it was a woman. So in that way, yeah, like I said, many experiences and many input from many different players.
Anyone?
Yeah, I just have one final question. It might be slightly difficult. Both you and I trained in a situation where you had a difficult training environment with other girls feeling badly for you. Did you ever find there was any way that another player could help resolve it, or from coaches here that they could step in to kind of help?
Well, I remember that we had some difficulties, yeah. I think in the situation I was in, I think the coaches could have stepped in. I think, I don't know if they were scared or if they thought, oh god, they're women, so let's not, can't talk with women. I don't know if it was that. But I think if someone would have stepped in and said, come on, listen, we're, let's say, 5 girls. We need to get better. It doesn't really help when you just feed badly or if you don't help each other, because it doesn't help the group. I think if someone would have stepped in, and I think these problems you can see early if you have a girls group, but you need to step in directly in the beginning, because I think if you don't do it in the beginning, then it's going to be very difficult.
Okay, I'm going to the last question. That's a bit tricky one, but I know Judith as a very positive player. She's been always positive, as I remember her. And I know that for all of the players, particularly for the girls, it might be very difficult sometimes to go on when things not running well. But what was your feeling when you stood up there in Macau, on top, beating Zanning, or standing there up and taking the second place in the Uber Cup? Is that the feeling which was driving you, helping you later on to, how was it?
Well, actually, it was a little bit two different things, because Uber Cup, of course, is with a team. Of course, you need to win your own matches, but you still have your teammates to help. I felt, at that time, I felt very proud. Holland, as a small country, playing with 4 girls in 5 matches, I mean, 1 injury and we were out. I felt really proud at that time. Being a winner in Macau, I think it brought a lot of emotions up. I mean, I had a really tough time with the injury, of course, with the family, and I saw a little bit as a bonus. I dedicated the win to my dad, because I think he, for some reason, gave me the power to do this in maybe a strange way. I don't know how to explain. But completely different feelings. But yeah, the biggest one was just proud. When I think about it, or I see a picture of Macau, I just smile. Can't do anything else but smile.
Probably that it works. No?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much, Judith, from Badminton Europe, a woman in Badminton group and Badminton Europe. Many thanks for your great story and sharing experience with us. So I let Emma now to make the final word.
Yeah, thank you. I will try to be brief and not bore too much. So just before we finish, there's just a couple of people I'd like to thank. Firstly, I'd like to say say thank you very much to our speakers today, to Steve, to Thomas and Judith. I think and I hope that you have all gained some important information and inspiration into how we can all positively improve the situation of women in badminton in Europe. So please could you actually put your hands together one last time for our speakers today. I would also like to thank Ella and Christina for helping me out today, and to Cheryl, who was also instrumental in putting together this conference today. Thank you very much, it's been invaluable. My personal thanks must also go to Badminton Europe and to Yao Matos for being here today to open the conference. And I must also say a huge thank you to Manuel, who's been filming today, and to Jeroen and Spella, who helped put on today's event. So thank you very much. People to say thanks to, and then we can all go for lunch. I have to say thank you very much to the World Badminton Federation, and especially to their Women in Badminton Commission. They provided the funds for today's conference, and they have been fully committed to providing funds for ventures that improve the situation of women in badminton. So to them I must say thank you. And finally, I would like to say thank you to VN Badminton Club and to Jakob Munstedt, who provided all the organisation and the facilities today. It wouldn't have been possible without you, so thank you very much. I think a round of applause for them would be great. This is my final one. I would like to say thank you to you all today for being here and for being great listeners and active participants. We are putting on, or the Women in Badminton Working Group is putting on a lunch at 1 PM for you. It's across just in the dining hall, right? It's across where you were earlier. I'd just like to say please do continue the discussions that we had here this morning. Please approach the speakers. I'm sure they will all be very keen to talk to you if there's anything you'd like to discuss further that you didn't talk about here. And if you would like to talk to any of us, or if you have any feedback on today, then I'd be more than welcome to listen to you. I think that's me, so I'd just like to say thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your camp. Thank you.